morning, friends and family at the internet and fellow watchers on the wall. Okay, you guys, we have so much stuff that we need to kind of break down and talk about. We're going to go through the poisoning of private ponds, stocked ponds, the dying off of waterfowl, duck, and fish, how that is also like directly impacting our ecosystems. You know, I've seen pictures of trees laid side by side to the image of a human lung, and they are identical. When you look at the images, it's beautifully done. The Lord was so amazing in his creations. When you look at trees, they basically are our lungs. So if you're living in a community or a place where the trees are dying, there's without a doubt in my mind that it is also affecting your human body. So I want to bring that to your awareness. I want to talk about how recently I found out that Disney paid upwards of a couple of $1 million to have a gentleman go back into all of their older films. And you ready for this? They added the streaks in the sky. Yes. NASA and NOAA have now added like 10 new clouds that weren't there 30 years ago. Where is all this coming from? They're trying to normalize the atmospheric spraying. They're trying to normalize all of the stuff they're doing to us as if it's always been this way. It's how they manipulate history. Don't forget to pick up Growing Under a Poisoned Sky. We're going to talk to you about what's happening in the skies above you. We're going to show you the patents so that you can look this stuff up yourself, this information yourself. We're also going to teach you how to clean your soil, your water, and your body from the toxins being dumped on you, friends and family. So with no further ado, let's get right into this crazy stuff going on in the world. We're even going to be talking about Turning Point and all these sexual allegations that's coming out against TPUSA. I think it's really important that we talk about it. It should not be hidden, but the allegations began coming out before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I even have a picture of Charlie Kirk standing with someone dressed up like a woman, a man dressed up like a woman, wearing a banner that says MAGA. It's disgusting. I've got to show it to you. But let's start with this.
Yesterday to go and see this lake. It's a private lake sitting between a cluster of apartments on Thousand Oaks near Nacogdoches. But before we could visit with more residents, property management asked us to leave. Still, one longtime neighbor shared what he's seen and why he believes something in that lake is spiraling out of control. For 12 years, Greg Harmon has called this quiet northeast side community home. It's a cluster of apartments and townhomes, all with access to a private lake.
It's the main reason that I would say 100% of us moved here.
But late spring into early summer, he says something changed at Northern Hills Lake.
When we had an influx of the white egrets who came in, and then were subsequently dispatched by a large number of the cormorant birds who came in and just covered everything in their droppings, including the lake.
By late fall, he says the water started to turn. Then the wildlife did too.
We have a big fish kill. It started with all of our large carp that were floating to the top, and then eventually we started seeing smaller bass and perch, and all of the fish seemed to be dying.
Then came the ducks.
A slow, painful death, and so we decided to find out what was going on.
He says multiple breeds are turning up dead, and the once green trees appear to be dying too. Texas Parks and Wildlife says they're investigating the fish and duck deaths, and they don't believe this is connected to the cormorants.
The trees are all dying. Now the water seems to be polluted, and now the ducks are dying, and the fish are dying off. That's four supposedly unrelated things happening. That seems to be a little too coincidental for me.
Texas
Oh, when full-size trees die, it's serious. And it's also affecting the people living there. So that is in Texas. So I wanted to bring that forth, right? Okay, let's go back to the Stargate project and Trump's 500 billion bid for AI dominance. Yesterday, I explained to you that joining Trump for the announcement were Sam Altman, who is the CEO of OpenAI, Larry Ellison, the chairman of Oracle, Masasha Son, CEO of SoftBank. Their three companies serve as the principals of the new joint venture. They are joined by a fourth equity investor, the AI focused Emirati investment fund MGX, which is controlled by the government of Abu Dubai. Okay, I have a problem with Dubai and Qatar being involved in something as big as the Stargate project, which it's literally going to control everything. So it says, how is Stargate organized? It says on its website, it's an open AI that mentioned building new AI infrastructure for OpenAI in the United States. Guys, this thing is going to have human-like intelligence, basically revolutionizing fields like medicine, science, finance, environmental science. But Dubai's involved. Larry Ellison is involved. For the project, SoftBank and OpenAI are categorized as lead partners, with SoftBank having financial responsibility and OpenAI having operational responsibility. I'm so sickened by this because I know what they're going to do with it, right? If it is a cloud, what does Stargate mean for the cloud market? Anything? While we're at it, while Stargate be reserved only for the largest use cases, AGI, for instance, that would typically require an on premises cluster, or will its net be spread wider to enable AI incubation for larger and smaller use cases and organizations? I think so. It says from a timeline perspective, the investment of 500 billion over 4 or 5 years is incredible. But how soon will the first customer, partner, or other user actually get to use it? It says it could take years, but oh my gosh, you guys. China in particular has aggressively incubated AI innovation both for domestic use and for export to the rest of the world. It's about US dominance, but I wanted to show you if they're going to take this Stargate and spread it across the United States, then they have to have the data centers to power it, right? All right, so this was put out March 7th, 2025. Data center construction projects underway in 2025. So you have this one. This is Amazon right here. This is Ohio. It's a $2 billion cost, and the contractor is undisclosed. This is an internet retailer, Amazon, continues its expansion into data center operations in Ohio and Mississippi. Amazon's 2025 development plans include a $2 billion data center currently under construction in Sunbury, Ohio. And then it says there's another one in Madison County, Mississippi, and that's a $10 billion budget. Then you have Google. California tech giant Google has several data center projects underway in 2025, including a $600 million facility in Arizona and a 500-acre facility in Lincoln, Nebraska. Google's $600 million data center in Arizona broke ground in July 2023 and is scheduled for completion in July 2025. Then they say there's going to be one in Fort Wayne, Indiana for $2 billion. And that one broke ground April of 2024, and it should finish at the end of 2025. That facility will power Google's global cloud and AI infrastructure and is rumored to span over 700 acres. You guys, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. Then you have Meta. Meta is planning robust investments in data center constructions throughout 2025 as the tech giant continues its foray into AI. So you have one coming up in South Carolina worth 800 million. This 715,000 facility is Meta's 22nd US data center. Located in the Sage Mill Industrial Park, it will be complete in 2027. Then they have one in Cheyenne, Wyoming for 800 million. It will be built by Fortis Construction and it will employ 1,000 workers during its construction, and it will be over 700,000 square feet. Then there is another one in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Then another one in Monroe, Louisiana, $10 billion. This one upset me because I'm already hearing and seeing the devastation behind this one. People in the community have already said the water is coming out brown. The trucks going to this Meta center are not following posted speed limits or stop signs. There's already been animals and people hit by these trucks. In fact, there's a local elementary school in this little Louisiana town that can no longer allow the children to play on their only playground because that playground's located in the front of the school and a major crossroads is right there. And of course, these large trucks working for Meta won't slow down, won't stop at the stop sign. And so the school, being prudent before someone gets hurt, has taken the children off the only playground they had. Now, this is a $10 billion budget. You don't think they could have put in $10,000 to build these children a new playground? No, because the kids don't matter, right? It says when Meta's 9-building, 4 million square foot campus in Monroe, Louisiana, it will be the largest yet. Construction began in December 2024, and it will not stop until 2030. Then you have one in Montgomery, Alabama for 800 million. You have another in Rosemont, Minnesota for 800 million. And then here comes Stargate, right? Because let's not forget Stargate has to have its own. This will be in Abilene, Texas. The cost, 100 billion. Stargate is a joint venture between OpenAI, SoftBank, and Oracle. To meet the growing demand for the AI technology, Stargate plans to invest over $100 billion in data center infrastructure to power the growing need for AI technology. Stargate will see the construction of 10 data centers, each 500,000 square feet, and it will be constructed under the project. The first data center, which will be located in Abilene, Texas, is already under construction with Denver, Colorado-based Crusoe. I just wanted to bring this to your awareness, friends and family, that is going to be coming to a town near you. Now, there's something going on with our president. 9 hours ago, this guy posted, President Trump posted hundreds of times in less than 2 hours. And this right here is what he posted. It takes almost 5 minutes to go through it. That's a lot, you guys. That's a lot to post. When you start noticing lots of different, sometimes subtle ways. Society has been deliberately corrupted, just like the LED lights in schools. Wow. This is awful. And you and I both know that these LED lights, it's called light pollution, right? It confuses nocturnal animals, animals that need to come out in the dark, but it also is causing issues with us. Plus, the LED is putting off a frequency. Some people have noticed that these LED bulbs up and down these highways also have cameras in them. Signs that you are noticing too much. Now, watch, read this, what it says. Let me turn the volume off. Andrew Jackson, the bank is trying to kill me, but I will kill it. Assassination attempts, 1, unsuccessful. Abraham Lincoln, assassination attempts, 2, 1 successful. At this time, I face 2 great enemies, the Confederate Army in front of me and the banks behind me. Of the 2, the one at my rear is my greatest enemy. James Garfield, assassination attempts, 1, successful. Whomever controls the volume of money in any given country is the absolute master of industry and commerce. William McKinley, assassination attempts, 1, successful. Our currency should continue under the supervision of government. The several forms of our paper money offered, in my judgment, a constant embarrassment to our government and safe balance in the Treasury. Teddy Roosevelt, assassination attempts, 1, unsuccessful. Issue of currency should be lodged with the government and be protected by the domination by Wall Street. We're opposed to provisions which would place our currency and credit in system in private hands. And then John Kennedy, assassination attempt, 1, successful. In this country, there is a plot to enslave every woman, man, and child. Before I leave this high and noble office, I intend to expose it. Venezuelan President Maduro publicly surrendered to President Trump. Maduro has allegedly turned in state evidence against the Biden administration and is releasing proof that Biden asked the Venezuelan government to ship Tren de Aragua drug gangs into the United States.
Informes de los últimos 4 años. He querido utilizar la campaña de la administración Biden sobre el tema del Tren de Aragua. Yo sobre eso tengo una posición muy clara. Le digo al presidente Donald Trump, con respeto, pida los informes de los últimos 4 años del FBI y la DEA, de las oficinas en Colombia, para que ustedes vean, presidente Trump, quiénes financiaron, quiénes movieron, quiénes dirigieron al famoso Tren de Aragua, quiénes lo llevaron a Colombia, quiénes lo llevaron a Estados Unidos. Y pida los informes verídicos para que sepa que aquí en Venezuela nosotros derrotamos, desmembramos y acabamos con ese grupo delincuencial, violento, que pretendió utilizarse desde Colombia con lazos profundos con la antigua administración Biden para traer terrorismo a Venezuela. Si algo se puede decir de terrorismo del Tren de Aragua, extinto Tren de Aragua, es que querían atacar con terrorismo las ciudades del país. Y nosotros lo evitamos, mira, con inteligencia, con acción. Presidente Trump, pide esos informes para que usted vea. Se los digo con sinceridad y con respeto, para que usted vea la verdad sobre el famoso Tren de Aragua. Nuestros migrantes no son delincuentes, no son gente mala. Fueron gente que emigró producto de las sanciones. Son gente de bien, gente de trabajo. Y en Venezuela le damos la bienvenida como fuerza productiva, con un abrazo amoroso. Bienvenido, vuelta a la patria, reencuentro familiar. Bienvenidos todos.
Okay, so in case you had trouble reading that, like if my head was in the way or something, He just basically said, President Trump, with all due respect, asked me for the documents, like real documents that prove that the DEA and the
Pida los
FBI
informes
from the
de los
last 4
últimos
years
4 años del
of the
FBI y la
FBI
DEA,
and the DEA,
de las oficinas en
of the
Colombia,
offices in
para que
Colombia,
ustedes vean,
so that you can see
presidente Trump,
President Trump,
quiénes
who
financiaron,
financed,
quiénes movieron,
who
quiénes
moved,
dirigieron
who
al
directed
famoso Tren de
the
Aragua,
famous,
quiénes lo llevaron a Colombia, quiénes lo llevaron a Estados
the famous Diagua, the drug gang all the way through Colombia and into the US. He is saying, look, I have the evidence. Ask me for it. I'm going to give it to you. Come on, you guys. This would prove what we all knew, that these people were brought into our country, financed by our own flipping government and the Catholic Church and the World Economic Forum to destabilize. Now, this blew my mind. This was 21 hours ago. I don't care if you believe this or not, but you need to listen. There was a train that left from St. Louis to go to Chicago. It left at 8 a.m. in the morning and it never arrived. It's 21 hours ago. You're not going to see this on mainstream media.
A train leaving St. Louis, Missouri, heading for Chicago, Illinois, vanishes without a trace. The conductor explains to people on the next train that this could happen to them too.
I do not know if we're going to make it or when we're going to make it. So know when you get on, these are your choice.
They just said that the train that left from here at 8 o'clock this morning, crazy, the train that left St. Louis at 8 a.m. didn't make it to Chicago, they said? That's a little, and they don't even know, like they lost communication with the train. That's some scary shit. Like, yeah, oh Lord. If they, because no other train has passed where it would be, and oh God, I hope these people are okay. God bless. Ooh. Oh my goodness.
I'm not telling you not to take the train. I'm just giving you the information now so you're not on the train saying, why didn't anybody tell me?
The train that left before, are y'all going to Chicago? Yeah. Okay, so the one at 8 a.m. went to Chicago and never made it to Chicago. They think it is stuck on somewhere on between here and there. So he said if you get on the train, you may not make it to Chicago tonight. That it's a little bit scary. I love your coat.
Would you take this train ride? Leave your thoughts in the comments.
I mean, they're still being very optimistic, in my opinion. Maybe we've lost contact, maybe it's stuck along the rails. You guys, come on. How many planes and ships have disappeared? Right? No way. No way, friends. No way. All right. Somebody asked me to look into wormwood. The star called wormwood, Revelation 8:10-11. Poisoned waters, not a symbol of bitterness in ministry. Okay, chapter 1. When a star is more than a star. Now, I've not researched what this person wrote, but I saw it and I wanted to share it. When John writes that there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp, and that the name of the star is called wormwood, Revelations 8:10-11, he is not describing a ball of ice, dirt, methane, and science fiction nonsense dropping out of a cartoon universe imagined by atheists with telescopes. I have said it before, and I will say it again without apology. The Bible's cosmology is not NASA's cosmology. When the scripture speaks of stars, it is not talking about chemical gas furnaces trillions of miles away in a dark vacuum. The Bible says, he telleth the number of the stars, he calleth them all by their name. Psalms 147:4. You do not name flaming gas clouds. You name beings. You name personalities. You name intelligence. You name entities with purpose and identity. That is the Bible's position, and it is my position because I believe every word that proceeds out of the book. Now, again, I didn't write this, guys. I don't know how much of it is real. So please don't be on here accusing me of saying something I didn't say. I'm just reading what someone wrote. I thought it was very interesting. I thought I would share it with other like-minded adults. Anyone who reads Revelation 8 with an open heart sees that this star behaves like a person. It has a name. It has a mission. It has a deliberate trajectory. It has a destructive intention. It does not simply fall. It descends. It does not simply collide. It targets. This is not cosmology from a science textbook. This is cosmology of Genesis 1, where God places the stars in the firmament, not in deep space, and he assigns them roles as rulers and watchers. When the morning stars sang together and all the sons of God shouted for joy. Job 38:7. Those stars were not hydrogen spheres. They were living beings. They were angels. They were celestial sons of God. The Bible interprets itself every time. The reason why modern commentators fumble Revelation is because they reject biblical cosmology and try to force the book into the mold of modern space religion. To them, wormwood must be a comet or an asteroid because they have been discipled by NASA instead of the King James Bible. But wormwood is named, and nothing in the Bible about physical heavenly bodies falling to the earth ever involves naming inanimate rock. When God names something, it's because it has a personality and a purpose. Thou art Lucifer is a name with meaning. Michael is a name with meaning. Gabriel is a name with meaning. So when the star is called wormwood, it is being identified as a being whose entire nature is bitterness, defilement, corruption, and destruction. God is showing you the character of the one who brings judgment. If you follow the scripture from Genesis to Revelation, angels are tied to waters, rivers, judgments, and plagues. The angel troubled the pool of Bathsheba, John 5:4. The angels have power over the waters in Revelation 16:5. The fallen angels corrupted creation before the flood in Genesis 6. The Bible ties angelic beings to earthly outcomes over and over. So when a great star falls and poisons a third of the waters, it fits the entire pattern of biblical angelology without forcing the text into astronomical speculation. That is why I tell people plainly, the Bible is not talking about a rock falling. It is talking about a rebellious celestial creature being cast down to do what fallen celestial creatures have always done when permitted, destroy. The New Age crowd might call it energy. Ancient mythologies might call it a god. NASA might call it an asteroid. But the Bible calls him a star, and the star has a name. And that is enough for the man who believes the book. And it says, chapter 2, wormwood as a personified judgment. Notice how carefully that the scripture says the star fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters, Revelation 8:10. This is not a random cosmic debris striking by chance. This is selective judgment. It falls not upon mountains or deserts or forests, but upon waters. This star has a target, and the target is the fresh water supply of the world. I thought that was very interesting. What do you guys think? All right, so Chicago to New York, completely covered in this BS. This is what happens when you get natural clouds forming at the same time as the geoengineered shelf of cloud. And no, it's not normal. Watch 20 seconds.
The 5G and stuff. But then if you go up a little bit, check this out. Hard work the lizards are doing to keep the plasma goddess from us. Here, take a look. I went on a little airplane ride, and there was a bunch of these low-hanging clouds, right? And they're just little fluffy ones and stuff, probably held up by the, the 5G and stuff. But then if you go up a little bit, check this out. There's a huge gap, and then another layer of clouds. Why are they double layering us? It's almost like they're trying to keep us in the dark. Have you guys ever seen that movie Dark City, where there's a bunch of vampires, and this is just a movie, but a bunch of vampires want to take over the dream world or whatever, and everyone just lives in the dark. That's kind of what it feels like for us. And then you look at these clouds, you're like, there's so many patterns in here. This is so weird. Isn't nature so cool, giving us these cool patterns through air turbulence or whatever the fuck? I don't know though, kind of looks like a bunch of things being suspended in the air with maybe like electronic, magnetic emissions coming from little tiny towers or something. Okay, look, there's like a third layer on top. This one's even casting a shadow. See that hard edge right there in the middle that's casting a shadow onto the second or third layer of clouds that we're all flying through? Yeah, dude, every day we're looking at the sun or the sky through like 3 layers of clouds. Look at all those patterns. Would you think those are natural from air turbulence, wind? I don't know. Looks like a bunch of hedgerows, like someone was planting a little garden of darkness above us. But I don't know. Also, look at how hazy the sky is all the time. Hey, look, they tried their best to keep us from seeing it, but I got to see it a little bit. I felt the warmth of the plasma goddess on my face for 5 seconds. And then we went back under the clouds. Hey, look, there's the Lake Michigan mining site that they backfilled with water after they got all the copper out. And there's Chicago, the city that's always been there, way before we say we got here. Anyway, Chicago to New York.
That was funny. Please do not forget to pick up your book, Growing Under a Poison Sky. Guys, look, 88 pages. It'll teach anybody that thought this was fake, it'll show them the truth. Bombshell. The day after Charlie Kirk was publicly executed, FBI Director Kash Patel threw a 30-minute temper tantrum over an FBI raid jacket. This is no lie. All this stuff is from other FBI agents talking about how they could not find a size medium. They only had larges and extra larges. And Kash Patel wanted to come out with badges and a flak jacket and to look all important for the cameras. And it took almost an hour of time to find him what he wanted. You guys, come on. All I want for Christmas is the Epstein files. I love that. All right. At the Denver International Airport, the Masonic Compass and Square time capsule of the New World Order Commission. Read it. Denver International Airport. All right. It says Governor, Secretary of Transportation. The time capsule beneath the stone contains messages and memorabilia to the people of Colorado in 2094. The most worshipful Prince Hall, Grand Lodge, F&AM of Colorado and jurisdiction. Guys, let me tell you guys something. You see how this says Colorado and jurisdiction? Evil entities have been given jurisdictional areas. So you know how you've got a governor and you've got a secretary of transportation and you have a mayor, right? It's like that in the occult. You have somebody that has jurisdiction over Colorado, jurisdiction over Arizona. Then you've got one above them that's got jurisdiction over the West. And you've got someone above him that has jurisdiction of the United States. Then you've got someone above him that has jurisdiction of Canada, America, and South America. Does that make sense? It's like a hierarchy, all right? The most worshipful Grand Lodge of AF and AM of Colorado. Benjamin H. Bell Jr., Grand Master. Claude M. Gray Sr., Grand Master. New World Airport Commission contributors. Martin Marietta Aeronautics, Fintrust, Bradburn Architects, Zimmerman Metals. George Zimmerman. March 19th, 1994. I just wanted to show that to you guys. A lot of stuff came out about the Denver airport with the occult, remember? The conspiracy theorists were right again, as usual. Everybody give ourselves a pat on the back. Rub our bellies and rub our heads. Go us. The FDA chief goes rogue. HIV and Lyme are escaped CIA Nazi bioweapons. This was creepy. It was super creepy. So it's Princess Diana and then what is the one married to Harry? Meghan Markle, showing you how she is either mimicking every outfit Princess Diana has ever worn, every pose Diana has ever made. I think that's what she's doing. I guess this person is trying to say they're the same people. I just think Meghan Markle's so shallow that she mimics Princess Diana every chance she gets, like even in how she's sitting here. So you can look at all that yourself. That's up to you. All right. The last mile of preparedness. This caught my attention. This was put out November 30th. And I have been saying the same thing, like everything is connecting, everything's being done on purpose. If our National Guards, men and women, are not safe in America, then you and I are probably not either. So, what can we do? Because I don't want you guys to ever feel afraid. I don't want you focused on all the negativity. I'm simply trying to bring awareness so that you can make the changes while you have time to do so. And this is what they put out, a checklist. And I thought this was pretty good. So I wanted to go through it with you. Review your family emergency action plan. All right. So first, let's just say, what is a family emergency action plan? That means if you live in an area that is high prone to fires, forest fires, where are you supposed to meet your family members if they're at work and you're at home, or they're at school or doctor's office or on vacation? Like, where do you guys meet up after it's all said and done? If you can't reach each other through phone, that's important. Okay. So you need to have a meet up place outside of your community in case all of you are separated when something goes on. And make sure everybody knows where to meet, who to call, and what to do if the communications fail. Build a communication down plan. So communication down means no email, no phone, nothing, right? So now you have to have how do people know where to meet, when to meet? So you need to have that. Backup radios, walkie talkies, you need to have those things. Update all emergency contacts on paper and in your devices. Then you put a hard copy of this in your go bag. What is a hard copy? A lot of young people don't know this. This is a hard copy. Okay. Let's see. Identify a safe, neutral meeting point. We just talked about that, outside of your neighborhood. Make sure your go bags are packed. I have preached this for 3 years. You need to have a go bag. I have one in that closet that I could not carry. It's over 50 pounds. That's Steven's. Mine weighs about 22 pounds because I know how much I can carry for how long. And if you start dropping items along your route, somebody's just going to follow the items directly to you. So don't put a lot of weight. You can't carry water. One bottle of water and then water purification tablets or water purification straws, if you understand what I'm saying. Water's heavy. I always tell people, you want to know how heavy water is? Get a gallon of water in each hand, or a gallon of milk. It doesn't matter. They weigh the same. And start walking around your yard in a circle, carrying 2 gallons of water. Then I want you to tell me how long it was before you decided to drop one or both of them. Yeah, it matters. Weight matters. You should also have a small to-go bag always in your car. There should be an emergency lamp, flares, emergency, like the small silver blankets for like heat, somehow to start a fire. And if you're a female, I have something that can pump up my tires very quickly. I have my own air compressor. It's small, plugs in, and it just pumps my air back into my tire if I get into an emergency like that. So you might want, they are not expensive. There was like $10. They're cheap. It takes about 5 minutes, but it's better than the alternative. Okay. You need to learn how to safely shut off your household utilities, gas, water, electricity. Ensure that locks, windows, and basic home safety measures are functioning. Why this matters? There's something called backfeeding. This happens in the South every single time we have a hurricane or a bad freeze and we lose power. People hook up their generators to their main box outside so that they can run their house. As soon as the electric company gets the electricity going back on and they flip the switch, if you're hooked to your generator without first having cut to the main line, it backfeeds the energy and it can knock all the lines back out and or blow out your electricity in your house. So you need to learn how to do all that stuff. Learn how to cut your water off out away from your home so that if something happens, you can cut the water off, cut your hot water off so your house doesn't burn or, you don't have water leaks. You see what I'm saying? It's important, guys. Keep multiple light sources in your home, in your vehicle, and your go bags. Next thing, confirm your evacuation and shelter in place routes. Strengthen your physical security posture. Identify solid cover. Know your exits and place yourself where you can move quickly and safely if needed. Keep at least 1 week of food and water in your home. This is your buffer if the infrastructure is strained or travel is restricted. Yeah, cash is king. Keep enough cash at home, but I always tell everybody this too. So is medication. In a pinch, food and medication can be traded as cash. So you need to be able to protect everything you've got, okay? You need to keep backup walking shoes in your car. Ladies, you especially if you're driving, you're wearing really nice heels, please make sure you just go to the dollar store or Walmart and get a pair of cheap tennis shoes and throw them in your car in the back in your little to-go bag, right? You're not going far in a pair of heels. Let's see. Know at least 2 hospitals and 2 urgent care centers near your home, workplace, and your children's school. If you rely on medical devices, know your power backup options. We actually bought off the internet. It was on sale last Christmas for $99, and it can run Stevens CPAP. It can run all of our cell phones and a small fan for 24 hours before it loses power, and it only weighs about 2 pounds. It's also got double lights on it. So, I mean, you just having something like that charged up and ready to go for a medical emergency is amazing, okay? Include pets in your planning. If you've got small livestock, what are you going to do if you have to evacuate? A lot of people never think that through, ever, because you never think it's going to happen to you, but you should think it through. Okay, so no public locations that can serve as shelter if something happens. Libraries, schools, large retail stores, medical buildings, hotels, and religious institutions. Remember, your vehicle is part of your safety plan, a way to create distance, avoid danger, and if needed, it can be used as a weapon. We were blessed with my husband's truck, but one of the things I love about it, it's got the cattle grill on the front, and he got the reinforced bumper on the back. Friends, your vehicle is a weapon, okay? If a weapon is part of your personal security plan, it must be on you. It does you no good if it's stored elsewhere. Carry it responsibly, preferably concealed and low profile. Okay. It says, since January, we have traveled to more than a dozen states and spoken with thousands of law enforcement officers. The takeaway has been the same everywhere. This is a community problem. No single agency, no single family, no single person can carry this alone. Readiness now has to live at the local level, in your family, in your neighborhoods, in your workplaces, in your schools, and every place where you depend on one another. The federal government is not coming to save us. Your preparation matters, not just for you, but everyone around you. The next phase will require a community that is aware, calm, and connected, and able to get through everything together. They're talking about these sleeper cells being woken up. Okay, so this freaked me out. This is the dark side of Sigmund Freud that they never taught you. Watch the connections here.
Has been accused of molesting, known as the father of psychoanalysis. Sigmund Freud claimed his father molested all of his siblings. Freud was a cocaine addict, as well as a pedophile advocate, who taught that children sexually lusted after their parents, and that children who reported sexual abuse by adults had either imagined or fantasized the experience. He believed that women were the problem with society, and all their problems stemmed from not having a penis. Freud's grandson, Sir Clement Freud, has been accused of molesting multiple young girls and was suspected in the disappearance of Madeleine McCann. Sigmund Freud's sister, Anna Freud, whom Freud claimed was regularly molested and abused by their perverted father, gave birth to Freud's nephew, Edward Bernays, the father of propaganda. Bernays took his family's work in psychology and used it to help governments and corporations manipulate the minds of the public. Hired by the American Tobacco Company, Bernays manipulated women into buying more cigarettes by convincing them that smoking was a form of feminist liberation. During this propaganda campaign, he dubbed cigarettes torches of freedom. Thanks to Bernays and his family's twisted legacy, social engineering became big business. Modern psychology was used to exploit mankind's mental weaknesses, nurture the public's lower desires, and turn people into mindless consumers. Is it any surprise, then, that the great-nephew of Edward Bernays is none other than Mark Bernays Randolph, the co-founder and original CEO of Netflix? Does anyone really think this is a coincidence? Netflix has not only replaced network television as the premier home of pop culture, it is also continuing the degenerate, depraved social engineering of the Bernays-Freud legacy. In 13 Reasons Why, Netflix was accused of romanticizing suicide during a recent increase of teenage suicides. In The Devil Next Door, they were accused of rewriting history to deceive viewers into believing that Poland was responsible for establishing Nazi death camps. In The First Temptation of Christ, Jesus Christ is depicted as a homosexual. And a Texas grand jury indicted Netflix for depicting child sex in the movie Cuties. Netflix and chill, the new preferred method for brainwashing the masses.
Crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. So this Jesuit is regarded as the founder of Egyptology, so that they could whitewash history. You can see all of his things, right? Now, this I found like a little concerning. A lab test done on rainwater samples in Oregon confirms that they are spraying us like bugs with all kinds of nanoparticles and metals. So it says this past July 5th, 2022, along the Central Oregon coast, one individual took to collecting 1/4 pint samples between the hours of 3 to 5 of rainwater after 4 days of very dry weather with heavy chemtrail spraying. The results from 3 separate lab tests were done to confirm each metal amount. So each metal amount was tested 3 separate times. There should be 0 of any of these chemicals in ground level fog, moisture, or in any rain, except for sulfates, and only if a volcano is exploding nearby will this amount of sulfur be found. Aluminum, lithium, barium, zinc, copper, cadmium, lead, silver, sulfate, silica, and mercury. It's bad, you guys. Please think about getting our book. You want to learn how to clean that out of your body. Have you ever wondered why millions of Canadians suddenly believe the exact same things and all at the exact same time? You turn on the TV, that familiar theme music starts. Your shoulders drop. Your guard comes down. And before the anchor even speaks, you are already programmed. This isn't conspiracy. This is science they never taught you. Every major Canadian network, CBC, CTV, Global, City TV, opens their newscast with almost identical background tones. I ran the audio through a custom created spectrum analyzer, and here's what I found in the first 3 minutes. A carrier tone locked at 101.9 hertz, felt in your chest, linked in sound healing circles to heart coherence and emotional trust. A slow biannual sweep from 1 hertz to 4.25 hertz, deep delta to low theta. That exchange range is the exact one used in Yoga Nidri's non-sleep deep rest protocols, lucid dreams induction tracks, and clinical trauma release therapy, somatic experiencing, and TRE. Translation: the music alone is pulling your brain into a half-sleep, hyper-suggestible state where critical thinking shuts off and emotional compliance switches on. This is the modern Pavlov's bell, but instead of salivating dogs, we now have obedient voters. And they showed the 5 dominant frequencies. They know what they're doing. How many times have you guys heard me tell y'all, if you want to listen to what someone is saying, but you don't want to be manipulated? I do this. If I have to watch Candace Owens, I do it with her. I turn her voice off. I put the captions on and I read what she says. And then I'm shocked that anybody believes her. I do that with news. I do it with these 7 Mountain Mandate pastors. And what they say, the spell is not being applied to me. 1, because I'm filled with the Holy Spirit and I've got the armor of God. But 2, because I have ears that can hear and eyes that can see. So I turn off all the manipulative the linguistic tricks that they're trying to use, and I just read what they're saying, and I'm shocked anybody can ever believe them. Why has NASA added 12 new cloud types to the 10 that have been documented for decades? They must think that we are really stupid. So look, they've got all these new clouds, right? Oh my gosh, look at this one. Homo mutilatus. Y'all, this has got to be a joke. Flamagenitus. Come on now. I'm going to double check that one. I don't know if that's a joke or not. I'm going to look it up. Telepathy Tapes founder says organization was infiltrated by the CEA. It's not going to happen how you think. It's going to be someone coming in, infiltrating your world, gaining your trust so you have access to these families.
Subject for them to approach. The government, the CIA and stuff, all these declassified stuff, how they weirdly try to weaponize everything. We've talked about Operation Often, which they tried to weaponize like witchcraft and stuff like that. So this seems kind of like a prime subject for them to approach.
Yeah. And so a lot of people were warning us about that. And I just thought, what? Like, why? Like, I don't have any secrets. Why would someone start? What? Like, because people were warning me. And then a few scientists actually were like, it's not going to happen how you think. It's going to be someone coming in and infiltrating your world, gaining your trust, so they have access to these families.
Whoa.
And they're going to really want to like form beautiful, loving, caring relationships with them. Sure. So it's not going to be like Men in Black situation. It's going to be a very quiet, gentle backdoor situation. And that happened. And we all figured out what happened and who it was.
No way.
Mm-hmm. And so it's all I could do was tell everyone who it was. And so everyone's aware of it and just to be careful, but that's all we could do. I don't think it was sinister. I think it was just access. It's like people try to get close and know things and form the relationships and form their own relationships and so it was weird. It was weird because I did not think that would happen, and I'm such not a conspiracy theorist at all. But then
Maybe everybody should be. The deep state is in full panic. President Trump to give a full and complete pardon to former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez, who is currently serving 45-year sentence in the U.S. for drug trafficking and weapons charges. What I heard was that he was going to turn state's evidence just like the other president I showed y'all earlier. Never forget that the CIA drew up plans to assassinate Julian Assange for releasing truthful information and authorized going after his colleague's wife and even his infant son. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but they also target his wife and infant son who had a permanent CIA tag, who followed her everywhere. And they were asked and tasked to collect his infant son's DNA. Guys, this doesn't make any sense. They're out of control. This one blew my mind. This was November 30th. Very sorry to announce that James Rink, who is a victim of MK Ultra programs designed to turn him into a super soldier, and who subsequently created the popular Super Soldier Talk YouTube channel, has died of cardiac-related issues at age 45. James wrote his autobiography, Lone Wolf, Alpha Squad Copy Over, which described his difficult life and his determined research into MK Ultra programs. Let me write that title down, you guys, because I'm going to link that if I can find it for y'all on products in case you want to buy it. Alpha Squad Copy Over. Okay. So they wanted to turn him into a super soldier for the secret space programs, the SSPSs. He organized multiple conferences and online events highlighting super soldiers and SSPS testimonies. James and his closest supporters believe that he was targeted at his last super soldier conference that was held in Orlando, Florida, October of 2025, by a DEW aimed to stimulate heart failure. James warned several conference presenters that some presenters were being targeted this way. Okay, so he will be remembered as a kind and generous man. They took him out, you guys. James Rink, they took him out. All right, so everyone should be concerned. Anyone else find it strange that 7 of the richest men on earth aren't billionaires, aren't just billionaires, but also media barons? Look at them. Look at all the things that these guys own. Aha, listen to this.
And that we are headed. Look what Charlie Kirk said when he was asked, who runs the world?
Who runs the world? Currently, there's an oligarchy that's really hard to pinpoint of who's actually calling the shots. And it really is a secret society that is governing the country. Who they are is a mystery. We have some idea. That's people like Anna Applebaum, Victoria Nuland.
Staying silent while people are dying.
Obviously, Valerie Jarrett. They do not believe in borders. They do not believe in the welfare of the American people. They certainly don't believe in God. They are financed and funded by an even higher and billionaire oligarchy of George Soros.
I cannot and do not look at the social consequences of what I do.
Now, if you're Christian, you know from Scripture that Satan is the ruler of this world, and it is demonic forces that are working through men that are leading us in the direction that we are headed. Charlie Kirk identified as a Christian first, but he was pushing heavily for young people to come over to the Republican side. Now, that wasn't only because of the values that most Republicans have, it's because he knew that the other side are the ones that are leading us towards a more globalist government and a more globalist system.
It's such a shame that this guy was so close, but his eyes haven't been opened fully. Because you look at the people in control right now, the technocracy going on, the technocrats that are access to the White House right now. Palantir, George Teal, Elon Musk. I mean, come on, you guys. That's not Democrats. That's on the Republican side. Let me see. Oh, El Salvador is a Palantir state. Did you guys know this? There's a miniature laboratory. The whole country is a miniature laboratory, a controlled test environment to see how far you can push military forces, surveillance tech, and rebrand it as safety. If you can pacify the murder capital of the world, then surprise, you can justify doing it anywhere. First step, label thousands dangerous using cutting edge AI. Second step, throw them in mega prisons with zero due process. Third step, call it innovation. And of course, El Presidente's wife is a Chosenite. In a country with maybe 100 Jews total, somehow the presidency still ends up married into the tribe. Wild coincidence? I'm sure. And then it says they're not observing crime reduction. They're observing behavioral compliance, silencing submission, whether population will willingly hand over freedom for the illusion of order, whether public safety can be weaponized as a sales pitch for the beast system. El Salvador isn't a miracle. It's a prototype, and you're next. Breaking news. Argentina didn't miss Joseph Miguel. They hit him. Thanks to President Milei, newly declassified files exposes the truth once and for all. We talked about this so deep the other day, didn't we? The government issued him official ID by the 1950s. They knew exactly who he was. He used his real term and birth certificate to get fresh documents. Police tracked his address, his wife, his job, and family visits. They made the conscious decision to shelter the butcher of Auschwitz. Oh, this is about breaking news. Romania just exposed
to English, talking about an organization which was under investigation for trafficking women, some of them children, allegedly, to a U.S. air base, a U.S. military base in Romania, stationed in Romania.
The document mentions the years 2012 to 2015, which is when the Erica's Angels or whatever was being run. I don't see any mention of Erica Kirk's company, though, in the document. However, there are some redacted parts. So,
I mean, bottom line, now you can say there is definitely smoke there when it comes to just even the fact that if they were running some sort of children American charity, type foundation in Romania during that time frame, those things were happening with other companies or corporations or charity organizations that were doing the same thing. So, I don't know, bro. I've never wanted to entertain the Erica Kirk claims, because that would just mean... Anyways, this is new information. Let me know what you guys think.
Oh, Cambridge professor on stage. If you think spraying chemicals to dim the sun is playing God, the only alternative is to cull the human population back to 1 billion. Anyone volunteer? Dead silence.
It's making the cows sick because they're supposed to have less methane. Well, and one of the things Gates really leaned on or stuck his hat on is because we're going to thrive in the future, it's due to all of this great science and technology. And just 2 weeks ago, we showed Bovaer, this feed additive for cows. They're putting in, it's making the cows sick because they're supposed to have less methane. Well, there's another kind of little technology that Bill Gates have been investing in, and that is, well, first of all, here at domestic operations, that's called Scope X, is stratospheric geoengineering to dim the sun. And so here's the headline when this came out. A Bill Gates venture aims to spray dust into the atmosphere to block the sun. What could go wrong? This was out of Harvard. But really, there was a lot of protests from environmentalists, and they shut this down. So this is Scientific American. You know it's done when they're starting to report the opposite here. High-profile geoengineering experiment shuts down. So Harvard shut that down. But now it's migrated to the UK.
Yes.
And it's actually a little worse there because it's a secretive unit. This is literally what the headline is calling it, the secretive government unit planning to dim the sun. And this is called ARIA. It's called the Advanced Research and Invention Agency. And it's modeled after the DARPA agency in the US. The difference is DARPA is military. ARIA is kind of like this public-private venture. And they're doing things that are impossible to prove that are safe and effective, like spraying things into the sky, until they actually do it. So we don't even know what's going to happen. A lot of people saying there's a lot of harms for this. It could cause climate catastrophe. And the funding for ARIA, you go into an article here when it shows that this is this great agency. They're looking at brain chips, looking at some of the stuff Elon Musk is doing as well, but also the stratospheric geoengineering. And it says it was set up with 800 million pounds over 5 years and allocated 184 million pounds for 2025, 2026 fiscal year. And they compare it with DARPA here in the US. It was given 4 billion in the same period. But really the bottom line is this agency is running fast and loose, operating like a speculative venture capital firm with public money, with taxpayer money. And so where's the accountability? Well, we looked and there isn't any. You go to the UK.gov's website when ARIA was set up, and it talks about their policy statement. This is from the UK.gov, and it says, noting that ARIA will be a small body with minimal administrative capacity, we will remove the burden of processing freedom of information requests. So no FOIA requests is basically what that says. This government speak for too bad, sucker. You're not going to get anything behind this curtain.
Hey, oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Okay, so this is the one that blew my mind. Disney paid a German artist $60 million to update all the old films with lines in the sky in order to make you believe that they've always been there.
Edit all the.
So if they've done that, what else have they done to twist our memory?
One of my patients is a producer in Hollywood. 2 years ago, he received a task from Disney to go over and edit all the old Disney movies to put into the scenes of the sky these stripes.
So, when people see a Disney movie
Also wenn
today,
dann die Leute einen Disney-Film schauen
und
heutzutage,
sagen, well, Klinghardt, you say, du sagst Klinghardt, dass diese Streifenbildung erst in den letzten Jahren so schlimm geworden ist.
and then you, for example, people say today, well, Klinger, you're talking about these stripes.
Oh, this one? I was watching this last night. Steven's in here and he comes barreling to the house. He's like, what is that noise? Listen to this. Russia's mysterious doomsday radio has become active. The terms zoo followed by Plushovod were beamed out into the ether. The Cold War era radio activates only during major global events, possibly as part of Russia's dead hand fail-safe nuclear strike capability. It says the buzzer is a shortwave radio station operated by the Russian armed forces that has been active 24 hours a day for decades. It says voice transmissions are not uncommon on this station. Somebody else said that, so I don't know how true any of that is, but this is where I'm going to stop with this, and then we're going to move on to the TPUSA staffer accused. This will kind of blow your mind. Do you know why NASA starts all rocket launch countdowns with T-? Do you know what NASA's logo is and what it really represents? Now you do, and you can never say you weren't told. Remember, as the TV starts broadcasting truth about bad people, this agency is going to attempt to scare the crap out of you at some point, likely sooner than later, be it comets, asteroids, spaceships, or aliens. They're going to try. When that happens, remember this post and consider how much fear and emotion you're going to invest in it. Just sit it out. Decline to participate. It is your right. It is your choice to participate in their fake ritual crap. T minus equals truth minus. NASA equals Satan minus the T. There was one more. I do think you guys need to see this. Let me find it, guys. Oh, here it is. My dear friends, you all know what we are up against. This is very purposeful, and they've done it before. They're trying to give you hints. They're trying to normalize and show you and tell you what they do. They are doing this because of the principle of karmic retribution. Satanists, Luciferians are worse, but Satanists believe if they tell you what they are doing, if they make their intentions clear, and you still adhere to them, they are no longer responsible for the negative karmic consequences. In other words, if I put a sign outside that says poisoned apples, you walk up, take an apple and bite it and then die, that's technically suicide. It's not murder. However, I put a sign out that says apples and I don't tell you they're poisoned, then it is murder. That is how they think. By the way, I'm thinking about doing a video on Britney Spears. I saw something the other day, it really bothered me. I don't think she was ever released from her last mental health stay back in like 2021. Whoever this person is, they're showing on her TikTok account. I don't think that's the real Britney Spears. I hate to say that. Okay. But I think it's either AI or there's an actress there. Now, this, you guys, kind of blew my mind. A civil lawsuit filed in Maricopa County has set off a political firestorm accusing an Arizona Turning Point USA staffer and sitting Avondale City Councilwoman of sexual harassment, coercion, and kidnapping of a 14-year-old girl. It says, according to the complaint, Jeanette Garcia supervised a Turning Point USA employee identified only as John Doe who worked to promote the group's preferred candidates in state and federal races, that during the post-election celebration at a Phoenix area restaurant, he alleges Garcia became heavily intoxicated and propositioned him. When he refused her, she went to his house and took his 14-year-old daughter. No, I'm not lying. Now, this is something else I found. Breaking: new alleged Turning Point USA sexual scandal at a Turning Point USA event garners millions of views. This guy right here, all right, he's actually a coach of a very popular team, and I'm going to show it to you. It says, new alleged sexual scandal for Turning Point has garnered millions of views. I have written before about the sexualized frat boy party culture at Turning Point, along with alleged cover-ups by Turning Point Action COO Tyler Boyer of an employee sexual assault. On August 5th, 2025, so before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, former Turning Point USA employee Morgan Ariel accused Emily Saves USA. This is pretty nasty, and I'm not going to read it out loud, but it basically accused of our very sexual thing in the middle of a lobby and having sex with MAGA dads and husbands. You call young virgins losers and encourage them to have premarital sex, and you're pro-abortion. You're a disgusting feminist hoe with a Jezebel spirit. And this is the young woman making the accusation.
I stopped going to the urologist after I learned this trick with turmeric to reduce prostate inflammation, my urination problem.
Watch how butter affects belly fat.
Can you spot the difference between these two butters? One's
I will never understand for the life of me why TPUSA props up the most detestable, vile human beings who uphold no conservative values. I'm never going to understand it.
Because she's missing the point. The organization is not really Christian. It's ecumenical. It's about ushering in the one world government, the one world religion. I firmly believe that now. Okay, so anyway, the young woman that you see right here goes by the screen names at Emily Saves USA. This is the guy in that picture with her.
Coach is still making headlines. News4Jax sports anchor Cole Pepper joins us. Cole, Urban Meyer is getting a lot of unwanted attention.
Yeah, no doubt about that. And it's all because of a 7-second video that was posted to social media last night showing Meyer at what appears to be the Urban Meyer Chop House in Columbus, Ohio. This video of Meyer, apparently taken at his restaurant in Columbus, shows a woman, not his wife, getting up close and personal. The video has been viewed over 500,000 times on Twitter alone. The Jaguars say that they will have no comment on the video today.
And that woman is supposed to be one of Emily Saves USA, you know, conservative darlings of the conservative party. And she's bumping and grinding like that. Yeah, on a married man. That's what this young woman's trying to say. Like, Turning Point is not who you think they really are. Says Jason D posted an alleged photo of the incident with a woman who appears to match the physical description of Emily and a man he described as Urban Meyer, with his hands in close proximity to the woman. Some have made assertions that there's a video evidence of the incident through requests to provide the video have not yet returned. Well, I showed you the video. Then there's this. TPUSA and drag queen transformers, just because they said MAGA. Wow. Lady MAGA. Who is that, everybody? I heard he was involved in Scientology too, that he went to some Scientology stuff. Had no idea Charlie Kirk was running freak-offs at the TPUSA events. Well, yeah. You see what people say? TPU is a bunch of fake Christians and fake conservatives. There's a pattern of allegations of immoral sexual behavior at TPUSA events, you guys. There is an article written at the Washington Examiner in 2018 titled Turning Point USA Struggles with Allegations of Student Sexual Assault Harassment. By all accounts, the 2017 Student Action Summit hosted last December by conservative college organization Turning Point USA was boisterous. There were 1,200 high school and college kids listening to speeches. By night, some of these same students got blackout drunk. Witnesses describe a scene reminiscent of Animal House. On August 5th, Scott alleged that TPUS featured speakers and paid influencers Benny Johnson, who would take guys into the rooms during TPUS events while his wife waited for him to finish. Yeah, I told y'all about these allegations before. Even Kilgore made further allegations saying TPUSA told me to remove all public affiliation with them after Jenna Ellis and Dan Bongino falsely smeared me and made fun of me for calling them out. There is a history of Turning Point USA always siding with those who oppose real conservative Christian values, and I'm done being silent. TPUSA allegedly fired one of their employees after the influencer trip to Israel because she made a post about Jews needing to accept Jesus Christ as their savior. And then another one, a contributor was fired because he spoke out against the use of pride flags on the set of Chosen. So I've heard some stuff about Benny Johnson, Bongino, all of them at these events, you guys, and it's not good. It's not good. This brought immediate backlash because Kirk has also been accused of being anti-Semitic. Influencers such as Laura Loomer, who said Turning Point because President Trump promoted them. It just says, you know, I'm just showing you guys. Watching this faux right-wing influencers unravel is such vindication. Half of them are nothing more than OnlyFans rejects, cosplaying as political voices and monetizing from it, while sleeping with married and unmarried men at Turning Point USA events, pushing pro-abortion takes, and parading their hypersexualized goddess lifestyles as if that is what conservatism is now. They're hypocrites and they're poison. They're letting the left's depraved culture bleed into the GOP, rebranding it as edgy and Big Tent, while mocking and attacking the very Christian and pro-life values that built this movement. They kicked me out of the organization and blacklisted me because I exposed Israel and the Talmud right after October 7th. Guys, I'm telling y'all right now that there's an extreme right, like there's an extreme left. And I know that's hard. I did not wake up one day and go, yay, I get to unbelieve everything that I've ever believed, Lord. Thank you. No, I was more like, God, if I point this stuff out to people, they're going to tell me that I'm wrong, right? I can't, rather than watch my video yesterday explaining to you how Clement was besties with Lance Walnew, the predecessor to the Seven Mountain Mandate movement. This is what I got. Kim wasn't Seven Mountain Mandate. You're wrong. You didn't even look at the evidence, which I then linked for you in description of video, and you didn't even go look at it. But you accused me of lying. And I do get snarky. You're darn tootin', I do. I tell people, like, you just accused me of lying. Be quiet. I don't want to read your comment. I mean, seriously, you guys. I put hours into finding this information and then linking it back together to show you that it doesn't matter if they say they're Republican and conservative. It doesn't mean they are. Doesn't mean they are. And then if you look at people like Candace Owens, people like Tucker Carlson, people like Elon Musk, and several others in his administration, Donald Trump's administration, they were all Democrats and liberals at one point. But somewhere in the past 10 years, they made the flip. So I've always been conservative, and I can see fake conservative a mile off. Come on, you guys. It is us against them, not me against you, and vice versa. It's a waste of my energy. So rather than try to coddle somebody, I basically just on the end of their little nose. Like, come on now. Come on now. Like, I don't got better things to do with my time. I love you guys so very much. Thank you to the ones of you that are rowing in our boat for Stephen's medical expenses. And on 13 days, I leave, 12 days, I leave again for a solid week in New Orleans. And this is getting so expensive, you guys. But these are things we have to do for the brain aneurysm. So I am walking in faith. loving my God. He's so good to me. He is so good to me. Are you up from your nap? Come here, Chunky. Come here, Sam. Y'all see him? Can you see him? He's on the couch. Sammy. He's ignoring me. Look at him. Sam. I see you see me. Look at him. I see you see. Don't yawn it. Come here. Come on. Sammy. Oh, I'm so bad. That is my husband's dog. And I could let me go get this dog outside. I love you guys so much. Like, comment, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what you think about all this because I know it's a lot.